Welcome back, guys, to the Beyond Condition podcast, the voice of bodybuilding. And today's voice is my new sponsor from my brand new purple Beyond Condition bikini. Welcome, Nicola.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and you are so welcome.
Yeah, it is, what we've spoken about it in message, of course, and we'll speak about it today. But I feel like people, if they listen to our first pod we did together, will catch that reciprocal energy. And it's something I rate so much, as you know, when I say reciprocal, I think people sometimes get it, twisted that it's like you have to give and take and give and take, where it's like when you meet your right people, that becomes something that happens without even knowing it. So it's reciprocal, but it's like a universal reciprocal. So you root for each other, right? And it's like you've got each other's back and you don't question it, if that makes sense.
No, like this was the easiest kind of like decision for me to make. It seemed like so completely natural. And also that I knew that you trust me to do like a great job for you as well. And we worked together on things. And I just thought by giving you, by sponsoring you, this was a way that it could help you achieve what you want to do. I achieve what I want to do. And it's just that beautiful like synergy that has brought us together. And that's from years of listening to you before I even really knew you. I just really appreciate everything that you do for us and our community and everything. And finally, I've been given the opportunity to give you something back that is high value to you, and it's something that I want to do.
Yeah, it is. It's such a vibe. And you know what it's like? It feels like it's not real at times when you do, you're like, is this real? And as you said, for me doing the podcast, it's giving out to the community. And then and you're probably the same when you give out to your clients, etc. And then when you get an offer of something back, as I messaged you back, I was like, are you sure? Because it's quite a weird space when you're naturally sort of someone that wants to care for others and give back, and you're like, is this real?
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's quite difficult to accept it as well, isn't it? And you're like, no, but like I need to give you something back. It's like, but you already have and you do. And it's, yeah, like you said, right from the offset, it's just that bounce back of that energy. And it's transforming and it isn't into something that like I'm thrilled that I've been able to do that for you.
Yeah, it's and in essence, guys, if you find this, and I literally did a story yesterday about, in life it's difficult to sometimes find your people, as we call it. Like what are your people, right? Like how do you find them? And I feel like just coming back into being authentic to yourself and being you and as you said, you listened to me for years, right? So being me for years, and then we actually connect, we do a podcast, and that grows. It's
Yeah.
sometimes giving up on people, even if there's people that have, done you wrong. And we spoke about, didn't we, with coming away from marriages and stuff, like in the last episode. It's like, there's different chapters almost in your life, and it can take you very, very dark, it can really hit. And then you blossom like you have with your business, because this started off the back of prep, was it just like
It,
literally?
yes. Straight away. So I'd finished last season's competitions, and just to put this into context as well, the last things that I sewed was a pumpkin outfit and a cave girl outfit, where it was like, I think it was about 18 years ago or something. So fancy
Hmm.
dress outfits. My mum makes curtains, but obviously they're massive pieces of fabric. These are very small pieces of fabric. And yeah, so I'd even mentioned it to her and I'd said, oh, I've seen this Black Ice Academy course. And for some reason, it just spoke to me. And I was like, that would be amazing. Can I do it? And I thought, I kind of spoke to my mum about it and I said, what do you reckon? And she was like, no, I really think it's going to be too difficult. If it was that easy, everyone would be doing them. And she now feels really bad that she put me off. And I was like, but you didn't put me off because I've got,
Motivated me.
yeah, it did. Like anything, isn't it? I had like another one of like my people that I was speaking to, who I speak to every single day. One of my best friends, Ruth, and she was like, I think you can do it, you should. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to. I thought if I can do prep and I can win bodybuilding competitions, I can do anything. I said it's just going to take time, practice, and just know that kind of like hang on in there, learn lessons, and then you just got to start, haven't you? So yeah, as you were saying, right off the back of prep, I booked in to do the course. It was over like 2 weeks. And I was like, right, teach me everything that you can teach me about them. I've worn enough of them. I've seen thousands of athletes in them. There's things that I want to know how to do and why is this like that. And so I took all that experience and then I just thought, right, absorb, immerse myself in it straight off the back of a prep. You've got to take that energy into something, haven't you? So I thought, what could be more authentic than taking it into something that I'm so passionate about and being able to help people feel amazing on stage and have that confidence, know that the choices that they've made around their stage outfit is going to help them present their best package possible. And I want the bikini effort and presentation to match the effort that they've put into the prep. And I thought, I know that I'm going to do that for them. So that's why I went all in.
Well, it is, just before we hit record, we said about when you do, and I've certainly felt this. Of course, I haven't done a bodybuilding prep with this diet, but this
Mm.
week, as I said to you, I'd done some spring cleaning and stuff. And it's like, I feel so energetic. For me personally, off the back of doing a diet, I still quite like to get to the gym, do my steps, and keep a routine very similar. Obviously, it's a different narrative per se,
Mm.
but you do have, and it sounds like you're the same, and not everyone's going to feel like this, but I've
Yeah.
always had, even when I got to my leanest, I have this like bounce back energy where I almost want to take on the world, but I need to be careful, obviously, and
Yeah.
regulate training, etc., to be respectful of what I've just done. But when you can find something that is outside of perhaps the cardio, the weights, etc.,
Mm.
do as well as that, I feel like it's such a good transferable thing rather than suddenly and you can feel like you want a recluse, but if you can get something to ignite this sort of energy and passion, it really lends itself well, and clearly it has for you because you've continued on this endeavor.
Yeah, definitely. And I really thought that because it would be it's like my fourth like competitive season, I was aware of those feelings after. And I remember looking at like YouTube videos and I was like, what happens when like you've achieved what you wanted to do and you got on stage? I was like, what's next? And it was looking at like achieving videos and I watched TED Talks and everything. And then this guy actually ended up, it's weird how maybe subliminal things go into your head. And he ended up, he wasn't very good at school and things and was told like he'd never amount to anything. But then he saw these challenges and he was like, I just need to start something, learn, ask experts, keep going. And I was like, I take that framework. He actually ended up getting a world record for knitting yarns around trees, random. But he'd do all sorts of different things. And I was like, oh, so I need to take this feeling into something. And I think because I'd had like a year off season and then came back, competed at like 2 years, I was like, the energy is going to be even higher. Like I'd massively succeeded with what I wanted to, like beyond my wildest dreams. I'd had an amazing time in Vegas and everything after it. And I was like, oh, I need to do something with this. And to put it into making bikinis just seemed the most natural thing to be able to do. So I was kind of like prepared for those feelings. I was just describing it. The guys I'm working with on the Nikini Bikini website, that'll be coming out in October as well. And I was like, it's like you just need to take all that energy and bundle it and point it at a direction. Because, like you said, you can't do it with cardio and you can't take that same training intensity or anything, but it's still there. Otherwise, you just have the biggest down ever because you look amazing, you do end up feeling amazing, I think, because you've got all like the stage euphoria and everything. You know, you're looking your best, you're getting loads of amazing comments and support and everything. And then you can just like crash, really. So to have something else that you can push that energy into, and then you can pass that experience on to other people as well. It just made complete sense.
I feel like that's such a good message, particularly at this time, because of course people are finishing their season. It's sort of end of season A, as it were, or whatever you want to call it. And it,
Yeah.
you know, and the thing is, I feel like even if your season doesn't go as you maybe wanted it to, or your expectations are higher, etc., or you win, there's so many different feelings you can get post show. Like there's no textbook to it. And I feel like if you can just have that respect to, I feel like there's whatever happens, there's going to be some level of needing to direct my energies, whatever those energies feel like. And I guess as well, respect to, there's going to be people listening that potentially have, anxieties, etc., that might be, of course, heightened off the back of a show. Even if this can be like you've described, it's passive stuff. Although you had to obviously go out and learn, you can sort of do your learning at home. It's passive learning. You could do a course. You could do, a multitude of it. You don't need to necessarily sort of go out into the big wide world if you need that space, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think doing something practically as well can be so cathartic. There's a lot of research on it as well, and it's something that's not time sensitive. There's not kind of like an end product with it, so to speak, because like you actually kind of get lost in the cathartic movements that you have with something. And I know like not all of my seasons have gone amazingly either. So I know that looking back, this would have been really supportive, with that energy as well. And it's nice to be able to like speak to a new kind of like crowd of people around it as well. And kind of like take a step back and be able to see no matter how your season goes, you've still done something that very, very, very few people in this entire world will ever do or ever kind of like believe in themselves that they can do that as well. So it's getting it right into context. Like none of us do bodybuilding and stick in it for the long run for the results. It's not about that at all. And I think it might be easy for me to say that after the season that I'd had, but it gets more and more competitive each year. Like there's more and more education, and obviously through things that you're doing yourself, that it is just going to get harder. So you have to have all the reasons why you're doing it as well, and like literally just be proud of what you've done it, because so many people don't. So whatever kind of like however your season ends, to be able to have something to kind of like look forward to after that, I think can be really important and helps you get the most out of the bodybuilding experience, because it is a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I certainly feel like, we can absolutely get on this sort of hamster wheel of I can
Mm.
do better, I can do better, I can do better, because we can always do better. But, I was literally talking to someone yesterday about this. Sometimes doing better is fine-tuning even a sleep routine, right? It doesn't need to be, right, you need to train harder, you need to do more PDs, it can be simple fundamentals of the lifestyle, as you label it so well, to actually just enhance your life as well, because, it's a tricky one, because if we're always constantly on that, and this is the thing with, after a season or a diet or whatever you're doing, and I listened to this on another podcast, I really loved it. I think you will as well. When it comes to getting close to burnout, which could potentially be associated with off the back of a prep, and if you
Yeah,
get close to that, and if that's heightened by maybe if your season doesn't go so well, etc., it can actually take 3 to 4 days of coming, stepping back. And I love how you spoke about it. And this is what I thought about it: doing creative things that don't revolve around your phone, that don't revolve around pacifying everyone else.
yeah,
And to actually, and I'm going to do this on a holiday coming up next week, take 3 to 4 days where you literally just do creative endeavors. So that can be walking, that can be sewing, and the list on this podcast was things like this: talking to people you've never met, strangers on the street,
yeah,
like this. And what they said was basically, this 3 to 4 days can actually take you away from burnout, but also it can almost be like an epiphany type vibe. Now you can imagine, right, 4 days of no phone, no nothing, how you'd feel off the back of that, right? Like I'm like, what am I gonna? I'm gonna have some mad epiphanies of like, I'm so for my life. But it does. It's, you get close to these burnouts, and the reason I say it is because you said about the creative endeavors, and it's something. Since I heard that, I'm like, I don't do enough creative stuff.
yeah. It's like we sort of kind of think we create with our body,
Yeah,
but it's obviously not the same. Like there's such a massive demand on being able to do that, and it's just everything in the same direction. And what you were just saying then around like one of the goals can be like recovery. That is actually my goal for this, like between the competitions, is to get that better. So feeding into that comes like the creative side, and like one of these that I've got with the bikinis here, like you can literally zone out for a good 8 hours. A bomb could go off. I wouldn't have a clue because I'm gemming. Like it's beautiful, like the gorgeous feeling that it gives you, and it's so different to anything else that we do. It's just so, I found it massively, massively important for my mental health.
for sure. It's almost like that CNS
Yeah,
recovery. Again, you don't know it, do you? I feel like so many words are thrown around on social media or whatever, between your friendship groups, etc., and other bodybuilders, Nicola, where it's like, are you managing recovery? Are you managing? And when we actually think about it, a lot of this is based on your CNS. So again, creative endeavors, things that essentially relax, and it's hard sometimes to describe what the central nervous system is as such, because it's like, well, what do you mean? But it's things that essentially you feel freedom from. And as I said to you when I was doing spring cleaning yesterday, I felt light as a butterfly. And I've just finished, 19-week diet, and I could be feeling like absolute shit, but I was like, I'm vibing around the house.
Yeah.
I'm cleaning, and I'm saying to Matt, I feel like my cup is filling up. Like, it was a bizarre feeling. But from didn't check my phone, I didn't, and I was like, wow, if I can do that in a few hours, and the CNS stuff, it is immersing your mind in something like, you've just described there, 8 hours of. And that's the thing with something like a bikini. I can imagine it already. I don't do it, but sitting there and creating this piece for someone, every gem. And when I last went to Black Ice with a client, the lady
Yeah.
said that the gems like you've just done, like the patterns, etc. She said it's hours
Oh yeah.
because it's got to be exact.
Yeah, and it's the symmetry of it. And I did a Batman one. That was like my second suit. And she was like, come on, a Batman thing. I was just like, yeah, of course. And then I was like, I'll figure out how to do it. But it was amazing. Like and the most important thing is she loved it. And she said that it was better than she could have hoped to imagine. And I thought, I can't believe I get to do this like for work. And you can rethink anything, with how you want to do stuff. And I thought, I can't believe I'm this privileged to be able to bring somebody's dream to reality. And I've enjoyed it as well. So it felt like the most authentic thing that I could possibly do with my time. And then, like you said, I got that a real like reset, like mentally. And my heart, I'd say I'm not really sure what the central nervous system is, to be honest, but I know that we batter it. But I really felt like it was something that kind of took me way outside what I've ever felt. And I think, well, that can just enhance your life experience as well, then. But I'm pouring it into somebody else's dreams. So it all just kind of like fits. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I'd never felt like that before.
It's a wild feeling, and I feel like as well, it's worth mentioning as bodybuilders, we can feel a sense of guilt at times for getting that feeling, and it certainly comes with, we're both sitting here with multiple seasons under our belt, as it were, and if I described this feeling to myself at the start, I'd be like, no, I don't want it. Like, I should be feeling like shit all the time, even in off season, and now I'm like, it's almost like, Nicola, it's like you're high. You're like,
I
oh,
was just going to say, yeah.
have I taken some THC gummies? And it's like this like flow. But what I found as well, it's like that transferable. This morning I did my, because I'm still going to keep some cardio in for fitness, in particularly in this reverse out, and then titrate it down, as it were, but just for some fitness. And I was on the cross train, I had the music, and the difference I felt because I've topped up the cup, I was just, and I said to Matt when we got off it, I was like, it wasn't even looking at calories and the time. It was just like I just
Yeah.
had my music on and I was like dancing on the fucking cross train. I think, oh my. And then I go, okay, so let's track back. Why do I feel so good here? Ah, this makes sense. And that permission to go, it's cool. And I've got a client that does loads of puzzles. I've spoken about that on the pod before. Things like this with creative endeavors. And then I find as well, because obviously you started off the back of prep, it then transfers into potentially the off season being more productive because you've got more than just those maybe thoughts of, actually I want to restrict a bit, or actually I want to train a bit more. It's like I want to get back and make a bikini.
It is. I was like sat there last night and I had got home about say 6:30 or something from being in at 7. So like like a relatively long day anyway, but you love it, you get used to it. And then I felt guilty. I was like, I could have sewn. I was like, I could have sewn then. I could have done that. And I was like, no, don't turn it into that. I was like, don't bodybuild it.
This is the thing. It's like, and we can both attest to actually pouring more into ourselves. And we obviously both come away from marriages and various other things, turns our life around. The bodybuilding is just, it hits different, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It really does.
hard to hard to quantify because it's like you wake up every day. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm happy, and also the flexing of the phases. Now you're actually in a mini cut right now, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. So very excitingly, I'm doing a photo shoot with Eddie Whitehead.
Oh, cool. Okay, so it's for that.
I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. So yeah, I'm making the bikinis, and then I'm going to be wearing the bikinis.
Oh, I love it. So this would tie into your website and everything you're doing there.
Yeah, that's it. And then one of my best friends, she owns Hazard Digital, so she's got her own marketing agency. And we've tried to like work on stuff beforehand, but it's never kind of like come about. But this is the ideal thing because I used to work in marketing for 18 years, but like in a different kind of sector of it. And then she's amazing at like building websites and customer journeys and all that sort of thing. So yeah, we started working on that together. So then it was using kind of like the bodybuilding skills of knowing how long things take, planning it in, knowing that you're going to do it as well, and you're going to follow through with something. So having like the confidence, that's probably the thing that bodybuilding has given me the most of. Like, like yourself, you'll put weight on because you know you can then lose it and you'll look better, and you know you have to do it, and you've got all these multiple reasons. So I took that bodybuilding blueprint, and yeah, I've put it into that. So I'm on week 2 of a 10-week cut. Been told I'm not getting too lean. I was like, fine.
It's
Okay.
my post, it is I would be interesting. Obviously, we'll keep touching base, but how you deal with that because it is it's a very weird space, and it's something I want to talk about more because I've never done a diet, so it was like I actually wanted to do this 19 weeks with not getting to the point for too long where the sleep was fucked, the digestion, fucked, all of these things that comes as part and parcel with a prep for the stage, right? Like
Yeah.
physiologically, things aren't okay. But I wanted to, start quite hard on the off, but then be able to just have maybe a couple of weeks where these things start to kick in and then be able to pull out. Now, consequently, I'm not at a lean condition that I would be previously for stage because I push it that bit more. And it was like, oh my God, I'm having photos taken of me and I'm not. Are people going to think things like, are people going to think I look all right? And you do have these thoughts because I'm human, right? Like I'm not this, I'm not like, oh yeah, this is all fine. But it was really nice for character building because I was like, no, I'm not stepping on stage here. I'm doing a shoot to support my friend opening a studio, to
Oh, fabulous.
celebrate the diet, yeah, and do nice things. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how you feel because I turned it around, but I did have those things creep in, and it was like I'm
Yeah,
gonna sit with this. It's okay to feel like this. It's okay.
it is. It's like I've done a couple of photo shoots now. I've done one on a beach 4 years ago with Liza Salt.
Oh,
I was like, is that me? I was like, what have you done to these photos? But anyway, so like I was made up with those. And I did that one about 6 to 8 weeks out from a shoot, from a comp prep. So like a normal kind of time. And again, within like the whole kind of like, oh, well, I will be leaner for stage sort of thing. And then the last one I did was about another, like I did that a similar time frame because I thought, well, I like that look. And then you've got all these kind of weights and things and photos to compare against, haven't you? So you're thinking, oh, well, what do I want to look like, for that particular thing? But like with you, this is different. Kind of looked back at my photos and then like my ARIA scales to see, oh, well, like what will I be? And I'm kind of using it as a bit of a like guess the baby weight type thing. I'm
oh.
like, what will I be in 10 weeks? Because it's a 10-week cut. Seeing what happens like within that. And as you know more than anyone, like every single diet or prep or phase or anything, it's all different, isn't it? And you just kind of go with that. So yeah, it'll be interesting if I end up feeling similarly to how you were describing about it.
Yeah, it's I feel like when if people are listening and they're embarking on different things, or maybe there's people listening that are maybe pulling out of a prep, or they're not going to prep this year and they'll do a diet instead, or various other things. Sometimes the body doesn't respond how we think it
Yeah.
wants it to, or whatever. And I feel like there's such a big emphasis on being able to sit with thoughts and feelings and know that you are human, because I feel like, I guess I sometimes put myself on this point where I'm like, well, I should be immune to these things, and it's like I had this reflection of like, stop
Mm.
being an idiot. Like you can feel, you can have these thoughts, and being
Yeah.
able to actually then, I can voice it now. I didn't know I would, but have free flowing conversations with people around you, etc. To just be like, do you know what, I feel this way because. Absolutely, and you're the same as me. I remember speaking to you when you were in Vegas. You were fucking so happy and content and in a good spot. And I said to you, like, I don't know if I've met someone so happy at the tail end of a prep to be there apart from myself. Because it's like I think, is there something wrong with me here? But I can absolutely continue dieting, but it's not efficacious to then pushing back to grow my baby quads. So it's like, again, sometimes we've got to be able to do these things, like you said, a similar scenario. I can't get too lean, but I
Yeah.
can do this as a almost like a refresh and okay, cool, get back into growing. And then obviously you can do, and also in this you can gain valuable data potentially for the next prep as well. I know it's going to
Yeah,
change.
definitely. And just kind of like see what the shape's looking like and do any changes need to happen whilst you know that you've got time to be able to implement that as well.
it
And it's having that assurance over timescales, like the greatest thing that, and probably not to put words into your mouth, but what you will see from your clients as well. Mine are mostly face to face. I've got like a few online, but it's another example of how long things take. Like you cannot rush these things.
yes, yes, yes,
And I want to demonstrate that over and over again with clients as well. And to say, like, you just, the greatest thing you can do is trust yourself that it will take time and just stick at it. Find the way it works for you. Yeah, there are a few different ways to be able to do it, but ultimately you can't make it shorter, really.
yeah, I truly believe in allowing a longer prep, and it's a,
Mm.
sometimes it's quite a hard conversation with clients because I'm like, well, actually, I'd recommend maybe 26 weeks or 30 weeks, whatever it's going to be, and they're like, what? People do it in 12 weeks, and I'm like, obviously you got assisted realms, etc., and it's going to be a kettle of fish, but generally speaking, unless you're starting at quite a lean position already, if you've done a full proper off season, a 12-week prep's going to be off the bat. You're fucking, it's, and I feel like for a lot of people, and this is not everyone, I'm not saying I wouldn't put someone through a 12-week prep, but it's like the enjoyment factor of actually the first 3-4 weeks, you're getting bearings again, aren't you? You've been in off season for 1, 2, 3 years or whatever,
Yeah.
you get those good vibes, and then I notice this in clients. It's like these sort of transitions are like, oh, I'm
Mm.
feeling much better now. Oh, I'm feeling much, and then they're in
Yeah.
the prep, and they want it to last then, and then it's like, oh, I'm glad we did the longer time.
Yeah, totally. And I think from my experience last time, so we did that in two, I had about 16K to lose. So we did it in two separate blocks.
Nice.
That made the world of difference when I was prepping because then I was like, oh, well, I'm not missing this stuff. Like I was so full from food beforehand. My reverse was so much better. My body's responded better. I've enjoyed it more because we did it over such like a longer time period.
Mm.
It was, and actually I went higher on like my body weight and my body fat than I'd ever been before. But that was needed as well. But it all worked out so much better, and then I didn't miss anything. Yeah, prep was hard, but it wasn't. It didn't feel like any of the others had ever been, and it was much longer. So you could have thought, oh well, it would have been worse, but actually ended up loads better. Didn't miss any of the food. I was like, well, I can have it in 20 weeks. It became like a real. That's the most that I'm ever gonna be missing from it, and I was like, it's fine. Like, come on, bring it. Like, it just turned everything around. So to be able to demonstrate that then to your clients, and it's the best kind of like support that you can give them, really, isn't it? It's like, this is how I do it.
Yeah, and slowly just being able to, because as well, I think again, there's these like blanket statements of like off season and the reverse out has to be this way, and
Mm.
it's often geared towards, and people forget this in the space as well. It's often geared towards people smashing a load of food, but what about the people that actually go, I don't want to. This is quite hard to accept,
Yeah.
the food and sometimes it's like. And I don't think there's anything wrong with actually having some days where, you allow clients or however you want to frame it, people that you know and you talk to them. If they're not feeling the food, for a couple of days, okay, so let's keep the protein there. Let's keep some foods there. Let's just allow some time here because if you're going to have a longer off season, you do get those days, don't you, where you're just like, oh God, like it's quite
Totally.
hard.
Yeah, it was you. What did I have? An extra like 2,000 on a Saturday, and I'd have to start adding it in at the very beginning of the day because I was like, oh God.
And it's quite like, oh, and you go through ebbs and flows, don't you? Like some days you're like, oh, I'm here for the food. Other days you're like, hard to get this food. It's
Yeah,
so weird.
what I was saying just before is that you're going to feel things like, yeah, there is that robotic element to being a bodybuilder, but we're still human. And I think being in touch with those feelings as well and kind of knowing things that just a thought. So there's a book that I love from Amy Johnson. It's probably like one of the only book and titles that I remember because it's normally just someone said,
Yeah, this book.
yeah, this book was great. And then she says it's just a thought. And it's like as soon as you kind of like think of that and then you use like your amygdala that you pause for like 60, 90 seconds and then you think, do I still feel that? Is it still going to have like the same response? Or is it a reaction and you can separate that from then the response that you want to take that is in alignment with your goals? And I tell my clients all the time, I just break it down into, does this behavior align with my goal? Do I want to do it? If it's a yes, do it. If it's a no, don't do it, and then kind of move on to there. Just make it dead simple. But like you were saying before, appreciate that we're going to have feelings. We're humans, and that makes us enjoy things more, doesn't it? And recognize it, sharing it, being able to talk about it as well, just makes everything better.
I remember when you were talking about when you were walking along the strip in Vegas, and there's all these different foods. Did you have? Was it almonds or what was it you were?
Oh, the Brazil nuts.
Or Brazil nut, and you were just like, I just was eating my Brazil nuts.
Yeah. Oh God, they were gorgeous. Dark chocolate on them. Yeah.
I remember it was chocolate covered, but and I think you said you really like avocado when you come out of a.
Love them.
Yeah, and it's like, people outside of this, they automatically think like you're gonna want X, Y, Z. And right now, like I've said to Matt, I'm like, I just previously, absolutely, I'd want to go for a burger and chips at some point, or a pizza or whatever. I'm just like, I don't really know what. Like I'm cool with my foods, and I think I want to go with more like if I want to have an off plan. Oh, we've seen this restaurant, let's give it a go. And it's quite strange, isn't it, when you've really struggled in the past with like what to do and you want to eat everything. When you don't, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is quite
Yeah.
good.
Do you think it's kind of it separates the like environmental pressures, like the longer that you kind of do this for, the better that because you do feel better when you look after your body, like hands down. And like it was just something you said then that reminded me. So when I did my first show and we went out for a meal after, and I hadn't drank, I think it might have been for like 18 months or something before then. And then I think I might have even ordered a Prosecco or like espresso martini or something because I thought, oh, that's what you do, isn't it? And then I was like, no, why would I have something that hasn't led me to feeling this amazing?
Mm,
I
mm,
was like, why would I do that? And then I think that's kind of extended into like the post show food stuff. Like
mm.
in Vegas, I bought an air fryer and had like my little pan in the room.
Oh, you did not, you legend.
I was like, I just want more of like my food because like my food's lovely. Like I went and got like some extra treats and stuff, but the
Yeah.
base of what I had, like exactly like you were saying, it was just like, no, I like this. It makes me feel good. And I think the longer that you're in it, the longer that you do it, you're like, why am I going to go off into like what everybody else does? Do you know what? I really accept that I'm not everybody else, and it's not to say that one is better than the other, but I choose this lifestyle. I
Mm,
love it.
Yeah, it is. It certainly it is with experience, and I love how you said looking after your body as well. It's again,
Yeah,
I feel like hedonistically we can work on this over time where it's like I could absolutely walk down a bakery aisle and be like, this smells really good, but I know my GI will not like it. A
yeah,
lot of stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
I can have certain things, and I know that, and I absolutely would incorporate, things in this reverse out and moving forward. But you can sort of retrain the brain to be like, I know that won't serve me. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of bloating, all of this stuff. But again, it's doing it at times and then going, okay, shit, that wasn't a good idea. I probably won't do that. I'll write that in my journal. Do not have, but it is as well. It's, and I don't know if you're the same as me. I take time when I eat now. Like I eat in
yeah.
even in the diet, I eat really slow. I'm just like, I love this lifestyle.
Yeah,
It's a really nice feeling because digestion is better. And that knowing food is always there is super cool because as well, it, that when you come off the back of a diet, it's very hard to rationalize. And I like how you said about, stopping and thinking about it's just a thought.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel like actually if you do have a thought, or even if you were to verbalize this and maybe snap at someone or whatever, if you
Yeah.
take that 60 to 90 seconds, that is so powerful, Nicola.
Huge.
Isn't it? Like if you were like, I want X food in this example,
Mm.
are you thinking rationally? Is this like you've seen an advert and you're like, suddenly I want to eat it?
Yeah.
It's I'm so glad you've mentioned that because the power in that alone is huge.
Oh, it's huge, and it kind of makes you realize that just because something's there, you're not even thinking, your hand just goes to grab it.
Yes.
And it can be like if you put something further away in the cupboard and you just have to do like one more step to be able to get, for me, like step on a stepper to be able to climb and reach it because I'm 4'11". Yeah. But something like that, it then makes you you kind of like come out of that like zombie mode and you're like, wow, like that will stop me from doing it. Not more experience and everything now, but when I look back, I can see those patterns and like why they happened and everything, and just like how much it's changed. And yeah, the 60 to 90-second thing, I think is so, so powerful.
Yeah, I might have to. I'll definitely recite that to Matt. He talks about, Jordan Peterson, who
Yeah.
does. He talks about if someone says something you don't know the answer, to actually just go, and then give your answer rather than like, I need to say something. I've said it all wrong. Oh my God. And Matt talks about that in regards to like if you're maybe not sure about someone asking you about something to do with bodybuilding, or if you want to go for food or whatever context it is, if you
Yeah.
don't know the answer just yet, you're allowed to pause. But it's quite awkward for people, isn't it? Because it's like, oh,
And like no one has silence anymore, do they? And there's kind of like a thing of, oh, why don't you know the answer? Whatever it is. And it's like, do you know what? That's okay. Like ChatGPT does.
oh my God, one of my clients, D, she's just started using ChatB.
Oh, it's amazing when someone starts, isn't it?
She sent me this. She had some homework for it's sort of like a mindset course she's doing, and she
Yeah.
said it's beautiful like a storybook, and she'd put her words into it, and obviously they can. And I found out about it probably about 3 months ago, and I put some stuff into it for some just creative writing, and I was like, wow, it's like you've got a friend that just makes your words come to life.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Well, like my mum and dad had my mum's 70, my dad's 71. And then my mum was doing invitations for her birthday. So I showed her Chat GPT and she was like, oh my God. And then the next morning I woke up, I had a text message off my dad and it was a poem about the fisheries. I
Like,
was like, Dad, have you discovered Chat GPT?
I love it though. Like it's
Yeah.
addictive as well because you can put your, as we say, you can put your words in, and it
Yeah,
makes it into this like,
better.
and you're like, that's what I wanted to say, but I didn't quite know how to articulate. And it fixes your spellings, your type, like all the commas, because I get so confused with commas. I'm like,
I just stick them everywhere.
I love it. So in this mini cut, when you went from, so how long have you been in off season before you started the mini cut?
So my well, I sort of went reversed out for a few weeks and then started building from there. So it'll be from December.
Yeah, okay, so a good few months.
Yeah, he tends to make Dan, my coach. He tends to make sure that we're at least like 6 months into something without kind of touching any diet. That tends to be like the pattern nowadays. So we were actually going to leave it until end of August, but I just felt very hot, a bit uncomfortable. And then I've got a few like social occasions and things. And then I thought, well, if I get the bikini marketing material done for around that time, I want to be able to launch it properly in October to hit the season for deposits for next year and everything, because there's a couple of exciting things that I'm looking into for there. So maybe like a free pair of shoes or free posing suits. Someone places their order for the stage bikini and stuff. And kind of like working on, because what girl doesn't love a free pair of shoes?
I
Uh,
already, I'm like, I'm sure you're going to.
oh, you're special anyway, so. um, so yeah, it kind of just like worked out the timings, and I thought, well, it doesn't really matter when I do the cut because it just needs to be done. So I thought, well, if I can then, and this was a really important, I think, part of my bodybuilding journey is that I'm always going to stand on stage knowing that I've done the most that I could possibly do. But I am starting to be able to give myself some flexibility within that as well. And I thought, do you know what? I don't have to prove that I'm okay at whatever weight I am, because there is a weight wear and a look that I prefer. And that means then really that my bodybuilding life is more sustainable. So I actually took that upon myself as another challenge, to think that no, I'm actually going to choose that I want to be able to feel really nice in the outfit and then the photos that I have for those occasions as well. And I can still be the best bodybuilder that I can be within that as well. Because I think it's really easy to just be, no, I do everything for bodybuilding and that's it. And that bodybuilding has become a massive part of my identity, but being able to have a bit of my personality in there as well, and what's important to me. And yeah, I do want to look nice, for these occasions and things as well. I think that that's like a really big step up for me personally, rather than just being, no, I'm just going to be a bodybuilder and I don't care what I look like. I do, and I care how I feel, and I want to be like more of a human being within all of that as well. So yeah, long answer to yeah, that's why I'm doing the mini cut and why I'm doing it then.
I love that. I fucking love it because, again, it's like you do get to these points in off season where I personally feel, and it's not necessarily even because the calories are really high or whatever, that you feel like you're maybe moving quite slow because it's like you are carrying more weight. Maybe the sleep can be affected in off season as well. You
Yeah,
can you can just feel. I personally feel when you were describing that, it reminds me of what I started to feel like before I decided this diet because it was, my own timeline, exactly sort of what you've
yeah,
got there. I just felt the time's right. I'm not feeling my best self here, and actually then transferring that and expanding that into how you feel and how you act as a bodybuilder
mm,
didn't feel as good in the gym. So is my performance is there, but am I
yeah,
doing, am I able to walk around the gym with that, a bit more of that pride? Am I able to give a bit more energy into my steps and daily movement? Am I an efficient person, just generally speaking? And
yeah,
I understand for sure there's going to be potential for people that need to essentially suck that bit up or however we want to frame it. And I don't mean that as just get the fuck on with it because that's not my vibe at all. But like, there are elements if you do need to potentially, there is, and I would say for me, there's probably been one off season in total where it was like, I really needed to do that to get that next level of muscle growth, as it were. And there's
yeah,
definitely, periods for that. But I just feel like you do get to a point where it's like, actually, I need to do this for me. I want to feel a little bit better here so I can just give off just be a more functional human as well. And physiologically, I feel like, if you're always like, oh God, I don't feel too good, it's
yeah.
in the mind as well, isn't it? And it almost starts to decay the mind a little bit, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, and it's like you are doing this for you, like it's your life,
Yeah.
and it can be whatever you want it to be. And I think the bodybuilding stage represents such a such a hot, it represents everything you've been through. I think from the time that you last got on stage to the time that you then next do, it's just it's just a cut of what you have done within that period of time. It doesn't mean that that's your final presentation ever.
Mm.
And it doesn't mean, as long as you've enjoyed that process in what you've gone through to get to that, that's what it's about. And because anyone can, like when I won my pro card, it was against three other people at the Natural Olympia at the amateur level. And we looked very different, like being very fair about it. I did look very different. And I would say that the competitions that I did prior to that qualifying were a lot more competitive than that one was. But ironically, that was the one I won my pro card with. And then I could like go on to the next ones. So it really does just depend. It was very obvious it depends who you're up against on that particular time. So it's nothing really to do about the competition. It is always, like we say, it's a competition of yourself. So I thought taking all of that into account, how do I want to shape this? And like you were just saying around like the off season that you had where you did need to push it that bit further for that extra muscle. I feel like I had that one
Mm.
in the last prep involved in all of that. So I was like, I don't really want to go up to that again. I don't want to look and feel like that. So let's do this now and then make it a bit more fun, beneficial from a business as well. And then most importantly, beneficial for how I feel about myself and what I want to do, like overall. And it's not saying that there's a transition out of a bodybuilder. I think it's probably a transition into a bodybuilder for life with competitions in there when I want to do them. So I'm definitely going to compete next year. And then I think maybe like the next time, do one like when I'm 50 or something, do them every decade, do them when I'm 60.
That was like there was this I think it was like a magazine article online or something. My mum was like, "Look at this woman, she's 99 and she's just run a marathon." And I was like, "Well, by 99, I'm hoping I'll be resting." And Matt was like, "No, you'll be on a bodybuilding stage."
We'll be on stage together.
It is though, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
I just yeah, it is like you say, bodybuilding for life because there is, you do get to those points in off season. And yes, you need, I'd say it's a very good, 6 months at least is a good rough,
Yeah,
ballpark,
I
like
thought it was longer, to be fair, but looking back, it isn't.
around that, off the back of, and then the thing is, doing a bit of a mini cut, I feel like you can also get back in the diet game, get a bit of body fat off, don't spend too long there, get your appreciation for food back.
Mm.
Then, as we know, when you get into the reverse out period, the body recomp can happen, training performance can fly. You're, grateful for the food again, as it were, in a
Yeah.
weird way. You're sort of like, oh wow, I get to eat rice again. Oh, I'm gonna eat that. Whereas you get to points in off season where you're like, oh, I've got to cook my fucking rice.
Oh, it just but you then kind of realize that it's got so many different aspects to it and it makes it more exciting. You look forward to it more. You're like, oh, this is this phase. And it feels that bit closer to like the achievement that you're overall trying as well. And
Mm.
you can encompass that with like the other things in life that are going on and it makes those better, then it kind of means that you're not ever kind of coming away from that lifestyle. It's like a diet isn't on or off, is it? The best diets are the ones which you've got a bit more food or you've got a bit less food. The other reasons why we're doing stuff like you were saying about keeping a bit of cardio in for health, like that's really important as well. Being active, being mobile, strength training, obviously. I think there's a lot of us that, take all those things for granted that we do. When you've got clients that are kind of struggling to be able to do any of that, it really kind of like stands out. We've obviously got like the bodybuilding kind of like narrative that goes behind it with the competitions in, but we can absolutely use that time frame to not kind of it doesn't feel like I'm beating myself up anymore about it. Like I don't feel like I've got something to prove. Think like you said before around coming off the back of like the marriages and everything. It's like that last prep was like proving to myself that I could do it and like F you sort of thing. As much as it wasn't about anybody else, it sort of is at the same time and being completely honest. And this one's now like, oh, right, well, I've built a bikini business at the same time I've been doing this. And then I've got a really clear goal of being able to make my own suits for when I'm on stage. Don't know what the hell I'm going to wear.
Yes, I wanted to ask you that. So, what are you like with? Because I'm really difficult with decisions. So when you sent me the example one of the purple,
Oh,
yeah, I was like, yeah, I have that one because
yeah.
I'm like, oh god, and I loved it because of course it was the colors of the podcast.
Yeah.
Will you make the decisions yourself, or have you got like friends that you'll be like, what do you fit? How are you gonna?
No, I think I'm going to make them myself. I actually really like this like yellow goldy fabric.
With your hair as well?
Yeah, I mean, I do love red, so I'd laugh if I ended up just wearing an all over red because I probably will. Because it's like I've got, I don't know, like 15 lipsticks and they're all the same nude colour. It's like that's completely me. I know what I like, um, but I'll just be wanting to change them for each pose. But like, hang on, I'll be back out.
Wait a minute, go do the pop. So with your, and it'd be really cool to pick your brains with sort of when people choose their bikini and different types. Now, I've always just worn my because I always get a new stage bikini for each season. I've always worn my show bikinis and check-ins. That's why I was like, oh, it's going to be good that you can get me one that doesn't have gems that pop off every time I do a check-in. It's not
Yeah,
actually, and it's one that I can wear for check-in. So there's obviously different types and that people can explore. Maybe they get a different one for off season that's got more of the fabric and material,
yeah,
etc. So maybe we could give a bit of a 411 into if someone was to come to you as a new bodybuilder, let's say, and they wanted to get a bikini, would you sort of guide a check-in bikini and then designing a show one? How do you sort
Yeah,
of?
I would do. I mean, I think it also depends on what budget people have as well, because like that's obviously like a big decision maker. How much what their experience is, how much weight are they going to put on or lose? So I offer like these are the types of things. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this business, was because I think when you first come to somebody about buying a bikini, you don't know what questions to ask because you haven't got the context around it. So kind of the main key points for people are that when it comes to a posing bikini, they tend to range around like the £80 mark compared to a stage suit without gems. I start at 175 and then they go all the way up to like £500 depending how bespoke you want it and how much gem coverage, because it dictates how much time kind of goes into it. So that's kind of like the basis around the different decisions. A posing suit can be great because it's a less expensive way to make a choice on the colours that you like. But obviously, it looks very different as to how you will look on stage when you're fully glowed up and like got the tan on, and obviously like everything else that happens that makes us not look like we've been dieting
Oh, well,
massively.
I said.
It's when you had your makeup done and your hair, you're like, that's not me. Like, what?
Who's that? Oh, I look quite good.
Yeah. So a posing suit can be really good for like a colour that you really enjoy wearing, you want to trial out for your stage suit. But I would say that the stage conditions are so very different. And I think it depends what colour the backdrop is. So I've actually, even when I've been competing, got in touch with the people who were organising it to ask them what colour the background is.
Wow.
Because I had,
Detail.
yeah, well, it matters because when you come on stage, you want to pop. And every single bit, especially if it's like a bikini lineup, because there can be so many competitors in there. And figures very, very popular as well. I compete in women's physique, so there's not as many of us
Yeah.
that get to that stage. But you want something that really draws attention to you, compliments you, and is a colour that you feel confident in as well. I would definitely say gem colours are really, really strong. Whereas some mistakes that I see people make, I think they kind of go for a bit of a washy colour, but you really want to make sure that like you stand out when you walk on stage, because you can then, I think like subliminally you see people looking at you as well, and I think that just helps you elevate everything that you're already doing. So yeah, I definitely say like posing suit is a really good idea for picking a practice colour. And even if you can afford like a couple, that would be amazing, because then you can kind of rotate and maybe try it with like a tan on behind the scenes as well, for like one of your check-ins like earlier on. See if you like that, see if you like how it feels, get some feedback from people who you trust as well. Everyone's going to have friends that say like, oh, this colour really suits you. And that tends to be the one that like will suit you best from like a fabric top perspective. So you can either have a molded cup, which is a bra that you cover. So that's kind of like where you'd see like it being quite firm. They tend to be better for people who've got breast implants, because what you will see on stage is that when people do their quarter turns, whether it's for bikini or whether it's for figure, is that it can lift up in this top corner and show a bit of a nip slip. So obviously we don't want that. But so if that's kind of going to happen and we lose like obviously our breast tissue, whether you've got implants or not, there's nothing kind of like for it to stick to. So then you will go for a fabric top, which has a pad inside it as well, but it sort of like floats around. So like your posing suit is a fabric covered, got the room, and then you can actually mold it to the shape of your boob and kind of like how that expands. Yeah. And then also what I kind of noticed, and this is what I'll be doing for my shows next year, is I'm going to have a fabric one, because it can make your lats look bigger. If you can drawstring and bring those fabric cups in, you can basically like add 1 to 2 years of lat growth.
Yeah, yeah. No, but it's mastering the art of illusion with all of this, isn't it?
Yes, completely. And then that comes into like moving on to like the knicker. If you've got, so like the bikini wellness will have like the diamante connectors, and then the figure suits, figure and physique and bodybuilding will all have the fabric knickers. But the cut is really important, because if you've got some like crazy adductors, you want to be able to like show those off, depending on what your category is. You want the knicker as high as possible. So I put silicone elastic into the insides so that helps it stick, because just sometimes when you're watching people, they've slipped and it makes them so much more blocky.
So different.
Yeah, it really, really transforms the shape. So there's all these little things, and what I do with my clients is I make sure they send me videos before so that I can see if like any adjustments need making. When someone had tried on a pair of the knickers that I'd sent her, she actually had them on back to front. So I was like, that's
I've
why
done
they
it
didn't
before.
fit. I was like, turn them around. And then also what I do with my clients as well is I have sample bikinis. So because of buying online, it can be really difficult, particularly if you're a first timer, or even if you've just not really kind of got much experience in like fashion and things, which a lot of us don't. We love training,
We're
and
bodybuilders. We
we're
can.
bodybuilders. But I want you to make look the best that you possibly can on stage for all your hard work that you put into it. So I've got some sample packs that I will send out to people as well, where they can try on the different types of top, try on the different cuts of the knicker, front and back, different scrunch levels. So how much, like, you get like on a bikini, the full like scrunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like a figure will have like a partial one. And then how much coverage you want as well. So depending how comfortable you feel, how confident you feel, kind of like exposing what are the best features that you have of your physique. So I will work with people to be able to do all of that to help them make the right decision.
I love that. It is. It's such a. It's like the cherry on top, like an accolade, right? That there's these little things that come, and I also feel like I put this in my ebook for the show day. Like there's almost these milestones within a prep. So that could be a photo shoot, as we've spoken about. That could be arranging your bikini. That could be the final, 4 week. These are my measurements, and then you get excited, and maybe will you do it where people could travel to meet you in
Yeah,
person? Yeah. So that again, it's like, and we spoke about this at the group photo shoot at the weekend. It's like in a prep, sometimes it's good to have like a little where you've got to travel a couple of hours to do something like this
yeah,
to actually take you out of the hermit vibe and to actually just socialize with someone and do something that pours back into the journey. So that's a touch as well, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It's really important. It just can kind of make your show day experience that much better as well. And then you know how to wear it. It's all set up. Like all you'll literally need to do is put it on, have the confidence, and that's it. And I will always send them at least 2 weeks before stage as well, so that if anything happens, just basically if anything happens, then we've got some time to take that around, because I know how that feels from being a customer as well, is that you don't have time. Like you might still be very much, you're still kind of like chasing condition at that time as well. It's when everything comes together. You've got daily check-ins instead of bi-weekly or weekly. So any kind of like time is so precious, isn't it? So the last thing you want is a bikini headache at the same time.
Sure. And will you be looking at gowns and things, or is that something that's in the peripheral? And we don't.
Gowns in the future, but what I have been sourcing is backstage bags. So
Okay.
like a little bag that's stacked so that you can put everything that you need to be able to go for your tan in there. So you don't have what they called when it's like the compartment. When you go away on holiday and you put them in the
Like the wolf pack bags and stuff, like where you've got like.
like small ones, for your luggage, and you can
Oh,
packs. I can't remember the name for them. It's completely escaped.
like a carry on you can take. I know what you. I can
Like
see
you
it.
put all your toiletries in one. You put all your
We need
knickers.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But anyway, it's a little like compartment so that you've got everything you need specifically there. So you can put your tripod in it, your phone, your badges, your jewelry. There's a little hairnet in there. Put toilet seat covers in as well. And then you can put your bikini in and then your sliders, so that when you're going for your tan and everything, you can leave like your little luggage case or your big bag where it is, and then you can just ferry off and go around with the bits that you need. Extra space for your extra lipstick and little touch ups, all that sort of thing. So robes will be later down the line, I think, only because you need to buy the printer thing to do it, and then shoes. And I've just been making swimwear as well, so swimming costumes.
Oh wow.
So a lot of obviously competitors will have a figure that they want to show off, or book a holiday or something, or in their off season it's something to look forward to. So I'm taking the bodybuilding design elements and the fit into swimwear as well. So not just for bodybuilders, but for people who just want something that's a bit more luxurious, and to give them that. So one of my clients, she's going on a hen party to Mykonos. So I've made her a swimming costume, which
That's
is like all like straps everywhere and like a gold buckle on it, fully lined. This gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. So like similar stage wear stuff. It's like a white foil, and like she looks incredible anyway. So yeah, I can't wait for her to wear that one. So yeah, that's what I'll also be offering too.
It's certainly there is a market for it. Like it's like I
Yeah.
sometimes think the only stringer vest I've got that I've kept, but I've got a Gold's Gym one and an Arnold's Gym. Obviously, you're part of,
Yeah.
and like female oversized tees, stringers, like all of these and bikinis. Like I haven't even. I'm gonna get one in Croatia when we go because I tried loads in New Look and various other places.
Just
And
don't
obviously
fit.
I didn't know about. Else I would have been like, but they just look. They're like, eh. It's the best way to describe. I'm like, it doesn't really give my bodybuilding figure the best. And then I'm like, I get annoyed and I'm like, Matt, I'm not buying a fucking bikini. I'm annoyed now. So
Yeah.
so I'll probably end up in Sainsbury's, but I'm just gonna, go out there and buy something. So that's a really good point there because if you're listening, guys, like you'll understand a lot of stuff doesn't fit us when we're gaining, etc.
It's just not made for women with shape and muscle. Like my back doesn't fit in hoodies now, which I'm thrilled about at the same time.
It's so weird, isn't it? It's like these weird, like it's
Oh, it's too small. Oh, what a
yeah,
shame.
it's
But
it.
it's with our side, like it kind of like, well, when I first started doing this, and it was more from like a male perspective as well. They'd say, "Oh, I'm a small or I'm a medium," and I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. I was like, you're all completely different. So I've spent years from being a PT measuring clients and things. So I've seen how their bodies have changed and then how that translates into how something fits. And it's completely different with women with muscle. So I really think there's a gap. We want to feel good. If you've got something that fits, you feel good, regardless of your size or your body composition. If it fits and it kind of promotes and presents the things that you're happy with, and kind of helps with the illusion. We know it's an illusion. It's all an illusion
Yeah.
anyway. So I think that needs to come into the swimwear, and just make it easy for you to wear and enjoy it, and to like be able to like look and feel your best. That's what it's about.
And did I see that you made AJ's state?
I did.
How did that come? Do
Oh,
you
so that was hilarious.
come on? Give me stuff.
Because under this kind of ruse of, if I've done a bodybuilding prep, I can do anything. I took that to AJ. So I know AJ from UKDFBA, and one year, one Natural Olympia, we were going to do mixed pairs together, which would have been absolutely hilarious. But we decided not to because it was the day after we'd competed, and we were like, oh, we're just kind of like done for it anyway. So in January, I messaged him and I just said, AJ, because obviously he's got like such an amazing community and everything, and I'm a massive fan of like what he's done and everything he does for us. So I just messaged him and I said, AJ, who's making your trunks this year? And he said, oh no. I said, well, can I make them? I hadn't made a pair ever. And I was like, I'll make them.
I can make superhero ones if you need one.
Oh, there you go. So then we got to working on kind of like what the cut would be. I thought, well, I know all these people who've got trunks. I just need to be able to kind of, I've seen loads of examples of what I would like to change. I thought if I can make a pair of knickers and I can make a bra, then I can translate it into this. So then we got working on cuts, and Dan Sutcliffe, so the world champion, I competed with him a couple of years ago too. Um, he was talking about trunks. He was like, "Are you going to make trunks as well?" And I said, "Yeah, look, I'll give it a go." So then he sent me a pair of trunks that he really likes, and then kind of what things we'd like to change in it. So I took a template from them, started making some prototypes, sent them through to him, like 4 different versions. Bless him, he tried them all on for me. We got to a point where he was really happy with them. And then from that, like I made AJ's, and he wanted like a slightly different cut because of his glutes and everything. His glutes are insane. Like I was stood behind stage, like, what?
I love a pair of
What?
glutes.
Oh, Glute Appreciation Society, 100%. And like everything else that they had as well. But so yeah, we worked on the colours and then chose the fabrics. And then I ended up actually doing some the week before his show as well. Because he was like, oh, it'd just be good if we could we sent each other photos of like lines drawn on and everything to develop it. Yeah, so then I could take the elements that he wanted and then made him them in different colours. And then when he goes out to the world this week, he'll be taking another pair out there as well.
I feel like he'd definitely be someone that would be the intricate details.
Yeah, and it was great to work with. So, well, we're all like that, really, aren't we? Bodybuilders,
If
like,
we, if we accept we're like that, we can go in on it. It's
yeah,
cool.
So to be able to do that for somebody, and like, you know, how we've worked together as well, it's like we can develop something together and get the best out of it. Like that's essentially what we want. Like nothing is too much, because we know everything that's gone into what you've got to do to get to that point anyway. So again, it's the whole value and ethos like behind my company, is that that's what I want. I want you to get what you want. I want you to look how you want to look. I want you to feel how you want to feel. And I'm the person that can help you deliver that.
I love that. Oh, I love it. I'm so glad
Yes,
this.
when it comes to your stage suit, lady.
Oh my God. It's like it because Romana was saying, I don't think I've said this on, we've joked on the pod about me doing figure and whatever. But when I saw Romana last in person, she was like, I think one more off season you could be figure. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. So I'm just gonna do the thing, do the
Yeah,
core. I'm probably going to need to grow for an extended period of time because the quad is so atrophied from the surgery, which is fine. But I'm just like, I'm so hyped to grow, and then it's like I don't actually know what, and I'm just going in with an open mind. I mean, if I could move up the figure, it would be, for me it would just be, even being able to do a routine and be able to,
yeah,
there's something, so I feel for me, as you mentioned earlier with bikini, you all look very similar. Obviously you're different, but
yeah.
and sort of like it's the eye walk, and I don't know if it's now that shift in, like, if I could, and if I was competitive enough, there'd be options for that. But it's nice to sort of have different things as a thought process. So watch this space, guys, because who knows? You know me, I just go with the vibe.
I love it. That's the best way to be, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to go with the vibe. And I'm surrounded by so many muscle sisters now, including Nicola. Um, I'd either be a jacked bikini girl, or I maybe go into the amateur realms of figure, but who knows? But of
Hey,
course,
both are good.
thank you so much for the bikini and your kind words and support, because I feel, as we said when we started the pod, it's from a genuine space, and I feel that, and I'm excited for, as we spoke about a message last night, I feel like we are literally just at we're like, what could we do next? What could we collaborate on? What could
Yeah.
there be potentials for us to bring to the community? And I really do feel like there could be a lot coming for us together, and you
And
know
it's funny, isn't it? Because, like you said at the beginning of this, it's that, well, like, I think we've had the appetite to do things together before, but it's not quite got there yet. And then all of a sudden, I'm making bikinis, and then you've got everything that you've been working on. It was like, well, that just makes complete sense.
Yeah, and there's so many. You're going to be the same as me. Like, you've already mentioned some things on the. I have so many ideas that sort of
Yeah.
float around, and then it's the divine timing, isn't it? Like sometimes
Yeah.
something will just present, and it's up to us to go, right, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. And I
Yeah.
feel like we're very, very similar on that sort of frequency. And when
Yeah.
you see people that are like that, it's like there's so many things to come for our tribe. So I'm just so glad that you're here with us even more, as part of that with bikinis and your energies as a person. So I really do appreciate you.
Oh, well, I really appreciate you too. Thank you.
Where's your doggo today?
Oh, do you know, I had to have her rehomed,
Did you?
but she's gone to a lovely family. She's gone to my cousin's mother-in-law. So yeah, just because I'm working full time, and she didn't really like being sat there when I was making bikinis either.
But you've got to make decisions like that sometimes, haven't
Yeah.
you?
And do you know what? I feel really aligned with it as well. Like I wasn't. There was like something that happened last year that I've kind of felt a bit bullied. Would have been a bit bullied into that decision, but so I dug into it, and then I managed to get like care for her from like 5:30 in the morning up to like 6:30 at night. And I tried the other kind of like working hours and stuff, but I just had to admit that I've tried my best. So yeah, she's gone to another family, but I still get videos of it. And actually, she came into the gym a couple of days ago. My cousin brought her in, and she came over and like licked me loads and like came round with me, and she's so happy, and that's what it's all about. And also, being completely honest, I'm happier as well because I don't feel stuck, and like I can do what I want to do. So it all worked out for the best. But yeah, she's really good, thank you.
Oh, I'm glad. When you say something, then you're like, have I just put my foot in it? But I know that you're not someone that gets offended. Which again, guys, this is what I look for in friends. If I can just say something and it's pure intentions, then the friend will understand that it's from pure intentions.
Oh, completely, yeah. And it's you just sometimes you put things on social and sometimes you don't and everything. Like actually yesterday it was would have been my 3-year wedding anniversary and I was like, oh, maybe we won't put that on.
Thank God it's not.
Oh my god, I know.
The universe delivered. The universe delivered.
It, and it keeps delivering.
It's gonna keep it. I just feel there's so much to come, and of course, guys, thank you for listening. And if you want to reach out to Nicola, well, I'll put the in the description the Instagram for you, and of course the bikini
Yeah,
company.
brilliant. Thank you.
I love how I said to Matt, the name is her name made in. So she's Nikini. I was like, this is genius.
And the trunk's a trunkini. That
Oh, stop. That is bloody priceless. I love that.
was one of my clients who came up with that. And I was like, yes.
So of course, if people want to reach out, it's having a look at Instagram, DM, etc. And
Yeah, and there's like some photos. I've been making everything to order at the moment because I've been thankfully so busy with it. But basically, you just send me. We talk about what you want. I hopefully make what you want, and then you're dead happy with it. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Muscle Sister.
Thank you, muscle sister.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.